The silver spoon in Lucas Whitmore's mouth had never once tasted the flavor of humility. At 23, the heir to a billion-dollar hotel empire walked through life as if the world was obligated to bow. His words were sharp, his tone cold, and his glare enough to silence any servant. In the grand mansion on the hill, the staff called him the Ice Prince behind his back. But one day, something shattered his frozen pride in the most unexpected way. A bucket, kicked in arrogance, would reveal a truth that would haunt and humble him forever. It was a golden morning, and the Whitmore estate bustled as usual. Maria, the new maid, barely a week into her job, moved carefully across the marble floor with a bucket and mop in hand. She was older than the usual hires, with a quiet grace and sad eyes that held stories no one asked about. Her back bent with each stroke of the mop, and her silence made her invisible to those who never cared to look deeper. Lucas stormed into the hallway, speaking loudly on the phone, ignoring Maria entirely, until his designer shoe splashed into her bucket. "What the hell is this doing in my way?" he snapped, yanking his foot back. Without waiting for an answer, he kicked the bucket aside. Water splattered across the floor and drenched Maria's apron. The clatter echoed through the mansion. Maria froze. Her hands trembled slightly, but she said nothing. She simply knelt to clean up the mess, her eyes never meeting his. Lucas scoffed. "Can't even do the one job you were hired for," he muttered as he walked away, oblivious to the pair of sharp eyes watching him from the top of the staircase, his father, Richard Whitmore. Later that day, Richard summoned his son to the study. The old man was stern, his gaze heavy. "You disrespected someone under this roof today," he said. "You're going to apologize." Lucas laughed. "To a maid? Dad, I barely touched her." Richard's jaw clenched. "That woman is not just a maid. And if you had a shred of decency, you'd ask who she really is before you disgrace yourself any further." Lucas was confused, even irritated. But curiosity eventually led him back to the staff quarters, where Maria sat on a wooden bench, her apron folded neatly in her lap. He approached hesitantly. "Hey. I guess I was rude earlier. Sorry about that." Maria looked up, her eyes calm. "Thank you. But I'm not here for your apology." Lucas blinked. "Then why are you here?" She took a slow breath, then spoke the words that would change his world. "I used to own the Whitmore Grand Hotel. The one your father built his empire on." Lucas frowned. "That's not possible. My grandfather bought that land from a bankrupt family." Maria nodded. "Yes. That family was mine." She unfolded a tattered photograph from her pocket, a picture of a young girl standing in front of the hotel, her father beside her, pride in his eyes. "We lost everything after my father died. Your grandfather's company bought the property. I was 16. Too young to fight, too proud to beg. So I worked. Cleaned floors, washed linens, took jobs no one else wanted. I watched as everything we built got renamed, reshaped, and rebranded under your family's name." Lucas stood there, stunned. "You're telling me, you used to own?" "Yes," she interrupted softly. "And I never came to take it back. I came to see if the next generation would have more honor than the last." Lucas was speechless. He had mocked a woman whose legacy his family profited from. A woman who chose humility over revenge, work over bitterness. For the first time in his life, Lucas felt small in the presence of someone who held no power, yet radiated strength. That night, he couldn't sleep. His thoughts kept circling Maria's story. He remembered the tone of his voice when he yelled, the way she didn't even flinch, because life had already screamed worse things at her. The next morning, Lucas did something no one in the house had ever seen. He woke early. He went down to the kitchen. And then, without being asked, he filled a bucket with water, picked up a mop, and walked to the same hallway where he had humiliated Maria. Maria watched silently from the side as he mopped. When he finished, he stood and looked her in the eye. "I didn't know," he said. "But I should have cared even if I didn't." Maria smiled for the first time. "Then maybe, there's still hope for you." Word spread quickly. The arrogant son of Richard Whitmore had changed. He started spending time with the staff, not to oversee them, but to understand them. He listened. He helped. He started a new initiative under the family business, the Legacy Project, dedicated to supporting former landowners and displaced families affected by corporate takeovers. When his father stepped down a year later, Lucas was named CEO. Not because he was the heir, but because he had proven he was finally worthy of the legacy he inherited. And Maria? She didn't take her fortune back. She never asked for compensation. But Lucas gave her what mattered most, a room in the mansion that bore her family's name once again, and a plaque in the Grand Hotel lobby with her father's photo, titled, "The Founders We Forgot. The Foundation We Stand On." Message. We often think power lies in money, in names, in grand halls and family crests. But true power lies in character. Humility doesn't weaken you, it reveals the strength others can respect. Sometimes, the ones we overlook are the very people who built the path we're walking. And sometimes, the strongest revenge is forgiveness.